Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Anon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
Who?
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 Spence.
Me? Oh,
Spencer.
oh,
Spencer.
Yes, okay, yeah. Yes, hi.
Yeah, that's you,
Yes.
right? Yeah, that's
I'm-
you.
It's so cold here that I lost my mind. Freezing out here with no jacket on.
We know that Gal is not going to be here today. I'm not sure about Nick. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by VMix Software, DudeInIT.com, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Nick has been, I guess he was partying a lot. He's starting his new job tomorrow.
So he's his last
So,
hurrah before he
I
starts to turn
guess.
into a responsible worker again.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't blame him
Yeah, I bet they didn't give him a big send-off where he worked before.
Oh, no, there was no problem with the. Actually, he's gonna keep on doing a little bit of work for
good.
them.
Good.
No,
Good.
he left that bridge intact.
Good. That's always important.
No, the problem is with the other.
Unless they're morons and you don't mind burning your bridges.
Ah.
In some cases.
Yeah,
Get me out of here as fast as possible. I only had that once in my life. It was one of my early jobs.
it happens.
I absolutely hated it. They
Yeah.
treated us badly, taking advantage of us. We're off the books, underage workers working in a bakery and being paid cash. I think I made, I don't know, 75 cents an hour, something like that. Cleaning. It's horrible. And finally, the guy wouldn't pay us. They were having financial problems. My father had to come down there and say, "You better pay him." I was 15. Like, how did I know how to,
Oh well.
Good lessons.
So I had another situation with my local area network this week.
Uh-oh.
It was Wednesday, and I was watching Streaming Idiots, Tom Sinclair's show. And about halfway through, I noticed, this is on YouTube, that about every 5 seconds, it would pause and start. Pause and start. You wouldn't lose anything, but it was a pause maybe for a second, maybe less than a second.
Buffering?
Huh?
Buffering?
What do you mean offering?
No, buffering.
It's sort of like buffering, but
Yeah.
you know when...
But too regular.
Very regular.
Yeah.
Very regular. What the hell is going on? So I'm looking on the switch. I'm looking at the streaming here, and everything is fine. Because whenever there was the problem in the past, it would mess other things up. Well, that one turned out to be Firefox.
Really?
I turned Firefox. I tried it. I closed Firefox and I started Chrome, and everything was fine. I went back to Firefox. Everything's fine. I said, okay. And then it started again. I restarted Firefox. No, didn't fix it. I went and I disconnected AT&T from the network, thinking maybe there is a conflict, because I went ahead and I reconnected everything the way that it always was after the big problem when I found the loop. That did not do it, and I forgot to put it back on. I restarted the modem, the router, and the big switch.
Still happens.
Didn't fix it. I restarted my computer. Everything is fine, and been fine since.
Firefox had an update, and when I went in yesterday or day before on my work computer, which I hadn't touched in several days, when I opened up Firefox, it says you need to restart Firefox to complete this update.
Yeah.
So apparently, well, I don't know, the update might have been a fix, or the update might have been the problem. I don't know. So you were okay after you restarted?
After I restarted, everything was fine.
How did you determine that it was Firefox? Just because there was nothing else that could change, right?
Well, I mean, because with Chrome, everything was working okay the first time around.
Yeah.
So I said, well, then it's Firefox. So I restarted it, and sure enough, it was fine. Of course, it could have been a fluke. And it just, in that minute, something got fixed. I have no idea. I can't stand that kind of problem when you don't know what you fixed.
I have on the Amazon Fire Stick, I have the Silk browser, the Amazon Silk browser. There are other browsers you can download. I think you can download Opera and Firefox, but I just use the Silk browser. And there's one site that I go to that allows me to stream a specific news program. And it works okay most of the time. But sometimes you go there in the morning, you'll click on it, and it will just be constantly buffering. It's irregular, so you know it's buffering. And there are times when it's just like that, and there are times when I would say it's never fine, but it's always it's worse at sometimes. I can reset everything and nothing changes. But I come to the one up here in my office, the Fire Stick, like this morning, it was perfect. I was watching this, no buffering, nothing.
Wow.
So downstairs, the network is, I have the router with gigabit ports, and I have a small 10100 switch that plugs into the router that distributes to the stuff I have in my wall, my entertainment center, so to speak. Goes to the TV, goes to the DVD player, goes to the Roku, goes to the Amazon Fire Stick. So what I'm going to do is move the Fire Stick connection. I even tried replacing the Ethernet adapter I had with the actual Amazon recommended Ethernet adapter, one that they make, and it still didn't make any difference. So the next thing I do is to plug the cable directly into the gigabit port, because I run speed test on my tablet connected to the 5G wireless, and I get 275 down. So I know it's not the network.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's excellent. So it's got something to do with the configuration I have. I might just get rid of that switch and put in a gig switch. It's cheap enough.
Well, I mean, if you want one, you need one.
Paul is right. And Firefox and their updates. Maybe they're just a little bit too comprehensive in fixing stuff.
Yeah.
Then again, Chrome will let stuff sit out there until people start screaming loud enough. So.
They are, but the good thing about it, though, is that if there is a problem or a vulnerability, they fix it right away, and you have no choice. Yeah.
And they don't use the Microsoft method of fixing it without testing.
So yeah, that was come on, I thought we just fixed that problem. Now it's happening again. Yep. Here's a story that is very good. Did you want to go talk about something?
Go ahead.
Apple and I don't remember if I went through this last week. It was one of the stories last week that I don't think I got. According to a complaint filed on Tuesday, that was 2 weeks ago, Apple user Matthew Price spent nearly $25,000 on content attached to his Apple ID,
Ooh.
which was terminated by the company for unknown reasons. The lawsuit targets a clause in Apple's media services terms and conditions, which states a user with a terminated Apple ID cannot access media content that they've purchased. I don't understand that.
But they don't tell you why they terminated you.
Yeah,
And then they
I don't
block it.
care. Even if they tell me why they terminated, even if I did something wrong, I paid $25,000 for content, then fine. Disconnect me from whatever you want, but I want that content because I bought it.
Maybe it's in the EULA somewhere.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure it
They can
is.
do
But
whatever they want.
to just tell somebody, hey, we're terminating you, not telling him why even, and the $25,000 you spent, too bad.
I wonder if any of these states that are legislating now for protections for online
they-
privacy and so on will look at these kind of things too to find out, are there other abuses that are happening to people? There probably aren't as anywhere near as many incidents related to this type of thing than there are to
Right, but
privacy and selling of information and all that. So
yeah, I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
and it's the kind of thing that they would be very reluctant to back down on.
And yeah, I mean, and obviously because it went to court, I'm sure he tried
Yeah.
to deal with them and do something, but he had to file a complaint. Hey, I mean, why would anybody wants to get content from Apple if this is what's happening?
Well, the plus side of Apple is that it's there and you can go back and find it. You don't have to worry about saving it yourself because you trust them that you'll be able to get it. You go log
Yeah.
in with your Apple ID and there it is. So there's
Yeah.
that's the good and the bad of it, is that's where it is. And if you don't have a copy of it, then you're trusting them to hold it for you.
Well, it's fine, if you trust them. If you have $25,000 in the bank in your checking account, and the bank decided they don't want you as a customer anymore because you broke one of the rules, they don't keep that money.
That'd be a good bank to start though, right? You could get all new customers and
Yeah.
say, well, you walked in the door and you didn't wear a red shirt.
Right,
So
yeah. We're keeping your
terminating
money.
your account and keeping your money. You forfeited your account.
Yep.
Ah,
Now, remember last week we were talking about bandwidth and speeds and all that? So Comcast is doing something. And I'm not one to promote Comcast, but in this case, thanks to Comcast and Broadcom, we're seeing the first test of full duplex DOCSIS 4 system on a chip.
Wow.
They call it SoC.
So do you think this is a reason why we have the type of cable system we have now? Because the chip can't handle the full duplex?
Apparently, they said the Comcast test done between Philadelphia and Denver showed that full duplex can work with DOCSIS 4. Full duplex enables cable internet providers to run a high-speed internet connection both upstream and downstream simultaneously. In other words, while you won't see symmetric speeds, you will someday see 10 gigabits downstream and 6 gigabits upstream, which is nice. Over Comcast hybrid fiber coaxial, they call it HFC network.
Because all they're really doing is emulating Ethernet over
I
card.
guess.
Yeah, there's got to be it's got to be some fancy encryption going on, or not encryption, encoding, in order for them to distribute and basically they're taking the for to get your speed on your cable modem. How many channels do you have downstream? You know,
To get what?
to get the speed that you have on your cable
8.
connection,
8.
8. So you have to encode that. So you're distributing that load. The payload is broken up into 4 streams and reassembled at the other end. So that takes a lot of processing power
Yeah,
to
it
do
does.
that, to reorder the packets. So you're basically emulating an Ethernet, single link Ethernet. But when you have to do it double that, where you have now as much, so all they're really doing is coming out with a faster chipset that
Yeah,
is
that's what they're talking
recognized by
about, the chip.
DOCSIS. Yeah,
They're talking about the chip made the
yeah,
whole thing.
yeah.
It says
I
that
don't.
Comcast has been working toward this for years. The company has been working to bring DOCSIS 4 full duplex to markets pretty much since Labs set the specs in 2017. There is another way to deliver DOCSIS 4 speeds: extended spectrum DOCSIS. This is easier to deploy since it only raises to 1.8 gigabits while keeping downstream and upstream traffic separate, as has been the case with previous DOCSIS versions. Comcast, though, is investing heavily in purchasing the top price of 10 gigabits, chasing the top price of 10 gigabits. It's possible that a single chipset could support both full duplex and ESD. That's the extended spectrum. But we're still years away from that silicon being forged. In the tests, which use experimental Broadcom SoCs, in a simulated network environment, they hit speeds over 4 gigabits both up and downstream simultaneously. This was done using DOCSIS 4 echo cancellation and overlapping spectrum techniques.
So in order to do a test of this, right, a realistic test, that they find a guy who hasn't left his living room in like a year and has pizza boxes stacked to the ceiling and is gaming all the time. Is that who they test it with?
Probably. That would be good.
And you'd have a realistic test. So it's really
The,
it's all about in the telephony world, we used to call it transcoding
Mhm.
because you had an analog phone on a PBX or a digital phone on a PBX, and you had to, when you came out with IP telephony on the trunk
Yep,
side,
yep.
you had to transcode. You had to
Right.
translate it from the other 2 signaling methods and put it out, and then do whatever you want to do with it on the other side. But it had to be able to go from one technology to the other successfully and not lose anything, not lose any
In many
quality.
cases, that's where you
Yeah.
got the delay, right?
Yep. Or the delay and then the reassembly
Yeah.
or recoding on the other side, because digital works by sampling analog signals at different rates. The lowest packet size has potentially the lowest quality because you can't take as many samples of the more samples of the audio, the better it's going to sound, but it takes up more bandwidth. So it's a trade-off between the best sound quality and the least amount of actual traffic.
Maybe they could offload some of the load to the computer itself.
It could, but
As
that
computers
could be
become faster
significant.
and faster. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it's
An issue. It's an issue that I'm not going to solve.
no, and nobody. I
Just
don't
sit
think
back
you
and
would want.
watch. I remember going, I got some really good training. A lot of it was kind of on the job training with how all this stuff worked, just
Mhm.
because I was surrounded by brilliant people. When I go in and help with an installation, they actually took the time to sit down and explain to me how this stuff works. And it was very good. And when we were selling new add-on technology, IP-based add-on technology to existing older systems, you had to understand how it worked because you couldn't design it. We were responsible for designing the systems, and you had to know how much horsepower you needed to get it to work. Very
Yeah.
cool.
And back then, I mean, there was a lot of innovations that were happening. It seems like nothing really big happened since those days.
Nortel, when they were developing their first hardened IP PBX,
Mhm.
the first generation they abandoned.
CBX.
PBX, yeah. But the first generation they abandoned because they realized that the hardware built in was not capable of doing what it would work. It would work fine. But as soon as you scaled too big, it would bog down. So they had to reinvent not so much the backplane. Well, they did because they made new cabinets, new small cabinets. You would plug in processor cards and
Yeah.
interface cards and all that stuff. And it wasn't fast enough to handle the expected load. So the first generation worked good for people who were migrating, who could use their old chassis and plug in some cards and get new capability. But to really make it work good, they had to move to like really a software switch so that you weren't that dependent on the silicone or the chipset that's in there. You did need those cards because you had all kinds of lines coming in that you had to basically translate. But the core of it became software so that you could add features and functions without having to change hardware in the future. So it was huge innovation. Remember, what was it? Asterisk was the very first IP soft switch. It was open source where you could build your own IP PBX on Raspberry
Mm.
Pi. You could have a switch and it did it all internally. There was some, you did have to have some adapter cards because obviously if you had a phone line or a T1 or something like coming in, you had to have that handoff, but you didn't have to do anything special, which was nice.
I
Oh,
think
it's just remembering all this stuff is amazing. How much has changed, and younger people today. There's nothing against them, but they came of age. This stuff just worked, right? You
sure.
didn't live through the pain of getting there. That was so difficult at one point.
Yeah.
I remember going to product meetings where the engineers who designed it and stuff would just say, "We can't get there. Can't get there from here. Not and be successful." And so whole product lines were either scrapped or retooled.
Yeah.
And people who had no business building telephony products tried to. And I won't mention names.
Never mind. Yeah, let's not
Yeah.
mention. All right. There's some news. I mean, Paul was talk about the Apple stuff, Apple campus. That's nice. Apple on Monday said it will establish new campus in North Carolina that will house up to 3,000 employees, expand its operation in several other U.S. states, and increase its spending targets with U.S. suppliers. Apple said it plans to spend $1 billion as it builds a new campus and engineering hub in the Research Triangle area of North Carolina, with most of the jobs expected to focus on machine learning, artificial intelligence, software engineering, and other technology fields. It joins a $1 billion Austin, Texas campus announced in 2019. The iPhone maker said it would also establish a $100 million fund to support schools in the Raleigh Durham area of North Carolina and throughout the state, as well as contribute $110 million to help build infrastructure such as broadband internet, roads, bridges, and public schools in 80 North Carolina counties. All we need to do is to get Apple to build a campus in every state, and we don't have a problem with
Right.
infrastructure.
Right. Well,
Single handedly.
I only hope I realize this thing is signed and done, but if the tax situation changes, the taxing that the reason this is available to happen in the United States, excuse me, United States now, is because of some tax policies.
Yeah.
pardon me, tax
Gotcha.
policies that were changed. If those change with some of the things they're looking to do now on corporations, corporations are going to leave again. They're
Sure.
not going to invest in the United States. So we hope that this is a sign that, this should be contingent on you need to keep these current policies in place because otherwise it literally isn't worth it. And I understand, I don't like companies leaving. It was a great, great thing to lure them back. But if the taxing policies change, and you heard a lot about this past week
Mhm.
about, this is going to, we're going to, why not tax them? They have the money and all this. It's like, okay, you just don't understand business. So,
Yep. The the situation will change one way or another. We can't
yeah, let's hope for the
sustain.
better.
Yeah.
It, it,
So,
uh, I won't talk about this for long, but I've done some work lately where I had to buy a lot of materials for building
yeah.
projects.
What'd
The
you find
price
out?
the price of materials has gone insane. They
What
said the average cost of a house, material cost of a house has gone up $30,000
Okay, how much
in the last year.
you bought 2 by 4s?
I bought fencing, 2x4s,
How much were the
and
2 by 4s? Do you remember? How
a
much was
pressure
it?
treated 2x4, 8 feet long, was $7.70.
Jeez.
A regular 2x4, grade 2, says premium, but it isn't premium. Premium would be a lot. Grade 2 means lots of knots in it, right?
Yeah.
Can't find grade 1. You can, but you can't buy it at Lowe's. They don't sell it. And some what they call appearance boards you can, but not on a 2x4.
Mhm.
But a stud grade used to be a stud grade you could buy for
Less than $1 something.
less than $1 sometimes, or 99 cents,
Yeah.
$1.29,
Yeah.
$5. I talked to other people loading their vans and stuff out in front
Mm.
of Home Depot. And this one guy said, I went to the place I usually go to, which is it's not Lowe's, it's a builder's first choice. He says their prices were better, but the quality was so bad that he couldn't find anything he wanted to use. So it was so busy at Home Depot on Thursday that I had to. There were no carts, so I basically
Wow.
walked out with somebody to the parking lot and helped them load their truck so I could get the cart. Well, the reason for that is because they have so many people order stuff now,
Mhm.
come and pick it up, that all
Right.
the carts are taken up holding people's orders.
Yeah.
So the people who
Yeah.
walk in off the street, you can't get a cart. So it's very weird.
And were the
Yeah,
prices comparable, Lowe's and Home
yeah,
Depot?
pretty much. It's really the product is the difference. Although I bought the fencing at Home Depot because the price was better, and I thought it was a little bit nicer fence.
Hmm,
The Lowe's one was like ten
interesting.
dollars more panel, and the hardware was better at Lowe's. And the hardware I bought, I needed to be able to buy a kit with hinges and a latch and a few other things, and add hinges for a second panel that matched. And Home Depot didn't sell. They sold the kit with all the pieces in it with hinges, but you couldn't buy an individual hinge to match those. I said, that's dumb. So Lowe's had it. You could buy as many extra ones one at a time that you wanted. So I had to go to 2 stores to get what I needed. But
Oh,
yeah, building and the price of wood has gone up so high that the price of metal the metal studs is crazy now too, because people are trying to use those instead of wood.
right.
So,
Yeah, I was trying to get another one of those carports.
oh, you were telling me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the price doubled. I mean, instead of like 1,500, $3,000. And one of the guys was saying it's because the price of wood is going way up. People are starting to buy metal, and now metal is in short supply. And
Yep. I
yeah,
bought a bag of quick set cement, 50-pound bag.
mhm,
Used to be three something. It's
yeah.
five something now, a bag.
I think the stores are just trying to make for lost time that they did not sell that much,
I,
and people are buying it.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to go to these places on weekends, but I do, and I usually go in. I park in the pro sections of the parking lot because I have accounts with them. I mean, I'm a commercial buyer, but um, and usually that register sometimes is pretty good. On weekends, you don't see a lot of contractors in there, but it's the back. You know how they have the back registers by the loading docks.
Hmm.
So that's where I typically go because the front ones, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't a real long line, but they were packed with people. Just amazing. So they're selling stuff.
Yeah, they're selling. Like you said, they're very busy.
Shortages in some things, but I hope it gets better.
All right.
I've had some stuff I ordered on Amazon recently just canceled. Simple things. I mean, an attachment when you do caulking, the caulking gun tube is maybe 4 inches long. I needed to get into a tight spot, and they had these extensions. It was $7 for 3 extensions. So big deal. Canceled. Can't get it from the supplier. So, but what's hard is that you order it and
Hmm.
expect it in 2 days, and you find
Yeah.
out the day it's supposed to be delivered, canceled. We can't order it. We can't deliver it.
Yeah.
Oh well.
All right. So it looks like we are getting out of this lockup. A lot more people are out there. A lot of people are going back to work. And CES 2022 is going back to Las Vegas following this year's all digital event.
Going to have it out in the parking lot instead of in the convention center. Give everybody umbrellas.
Yeah, in the parking deck.
Yeah.
So you can go up, next floor, next floor. You're going to park the cars inside, but the Consumer Technology Association said last Tuesday as coronavirus restrictions ease in the US. So the event will take place January 5th through the 8th with media days on January 3rd and 4th. So I'll bet you this is going to be one busy show this year.
It'll be interesting to see if if companies failed during this time. Who, unless you were really, I don't know, unless you were really on the edge anyway, did this push companies over? I know a lot of retailers and restaurants really, really struggled because of this, but did technology companies, development companies, my son's company he works for, they struggled. I mean, they were in the middle of an expansion and just had to basically shut it down for a while till they understood what this was going to mean because they were a customer facing or client facing business that they had to move away from local support to remote
Mhm.
support because the nature of their business is such that they would go in and train the customer on their software. It became difficult. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what comes out of this and how many. I saw today there was a story about face masks and how forcing children to wear face masks is a big movement now to say you have the least most protected, least susceptible part of our population mandated to wear masks as young as what, 3, 4 years old, and the kids playing sports wearing masks. I mean, this is just
Yeah, it's
insane.
ridiculous.
But the commercial that came on right after the story was a plastic frame that would sit underneath your mask to keep it so that it would give you easier to breathe
Yeah,
and it would actually push it so that it
like
was
a
against
shell.
your
Yeah.
so that you could actually have glasses on and not fog up your mask. And I said, what a great idea.
Mhm.
But still, why do the fact that we have these products based on the so-called new normal, it'd be interesting to see what technology there is.
Well, the one thing good information that I read yesterday was that worldwide they said that the flu disappeared this year.
Yeah, no, it was blended in with COVID. It's
It
just
was
that they counted.
right
They didn't count it as flu. They
as
counted it as
they
COVID.
counted it as COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
We're
masks.
wearing all these masks, so we didn't get it because we were wearing the mask. Well,
Well, I'm
people
sure in
still got
some
sick.
cases. I'm sure in some cases, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
but yeah, not to completely eradicate it. Come on,
Yeah,
give me a
like it
break.
couldn't be zero.
No.
Oh well.
Let's see. It's talking about people working from home and stuff. Google was one of the first big companies to move its workforce out of the office in the early days of the pandemic. But now it's calling employees back. Some of them said they don't intend to return. While tech firms such as Microsoft and Twitter have announced plans to allow employees to work from home permanently, Google has resisted going fully remote. And employees said there is an increasing sense of frustration among the faction of the workforce. That frustration spilled into social media last week. Spoken to quite a few colleagues at Google that said they quit if forced to go back to the office in September. That's Chris Broadfoot, a Google Cloud programmer. Other employees joined the thread to co sign the message, with some saying they may look for another job if Google makes them go back to the office. So,
I understand how they probably have a huge investment in leases of buildings that are
well,
sitting empty.
but the other article I read that they're saving millions of dollars every month by having people work from home. I mean, the building themselves is one thing, but think about now electricity,
Oh yeah,
cleaning.
they just offloaded that on the on the home on the user.
Uh,
We had a program at Nortel, work at home program, that was one of the
yeah.
best I've ever seen. They bought furniture for you. They set your office up with a printer, with everything you would need, very comfortable office. And they said it saves us $900 a month per employee
Hmm.
to work at home. So there's no reason why we wouldn't spend like $2,000 or $3,000 for you to get set up at home.
And you're talking about a company that had thousands and thousands of employees.
Yes, yes. So what the new office method was to create what they call drop-in spaces. So you would have an area in each department that would have the people who work there, who were there, and then a bunch of drop-in cubes or offices, depending on whether you're a manager or a worker. And it was very easy to go in because you just come in, you plug in, and so much attention was paid to this that they actually were experimenting with. Um, they used Bluetooth and what they call near field radio, where you would walk in, you'd have a fob, and you'd sit down at the desk, and you'd bring your. In some cases, you didn't have to bring your computer. The way the technology worked, because you'd sit down, and the computer, which would be
Just just a
generic,
yeah,
would load a VPN version of your office,
right.
and everything. Your phone number would switch. Um, Everything would become your office, and everything you needed would be there. IBM had this where they had their I think they called it caroling, but they would have this office for drop-ins. You'd sit at a computer and you'd log in, and it would assign you to this desk, and you'd go there, and it would be your phone number. So that stuff was very interesting.
And you're not talking 2-3 years ago.
No, this was when was the last time I worked there?
Jeez.
2013. So this was long before that they had this technology.
Yeah.
They were working on it. Yeah. So, I understand people's reluctance, and if they don't want to work from home, I don't think they should be forced to go in. But I for one would want to be working in an office again. I at least have the opportunity to.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
maybe,
if you do it,
I was when I was a manager, I had to go into the office 3 days a week minimum. And I
which
had a
is fine,
drop-in
you know.
space. I actually had a home office, but I was required to go to work, at least go to my drop-in office at least 3 days a week.
Don't make people return. Say, okay, now we'd like for you to work so many hours in the office. Like you work 40 hours, well, work 10 hours in the office. I don't know what it's going to do for them or the
Well, it's
company.
it's the interaction. There were great
No,
points
no,
to working at
no.
home.
I'm not talking about the employees. I'm talking about how does it help the company that the employee comes into the office? I have no idea.
Well, do you
But
remember the
for the,
story a number of years ago about Yahoo? How Yahoo, when that one there was a woman that took over
yeah,
as CEO, and
right.
there was a lot of controversy because she had photo shoots and all
Yeah,
kinds of weird stuff going on. But one of the policies she said was, no, everybody works in the office, no more remote people.
that's right.
And
I do remember that.
remember that? And then people were like, what are you talking about? This is remote people are a good idea. And she said, no. And when asked why, she says, because we don't get people interacting the way they would if they were in the office. At the time, I disagreed with that because when I used to go to the office, when I had a fixed cube, if the guy in the office next to me was on a conference call and talked really loud,
Hmm.
and plus I'd be working on something and people, hey, how you doing? Stop by. What's going on? I'd be leaning in your office or your cube there, and I got more done when I was home. But having the flexibility, if I had to work on a project, I'd go home to work on it so I wouldn't be disturbed. Plus, I could sit there in my pajamas.
And we're looking from the point of view of the company. It's better for them because they don't spend as much.
Yep.
So I don't know why they are so insisting on people returning to the office. Anyway, hi Spence, are you ready for specials?
Specials.
Are you, or you want to
I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I actually have it open in front of me, right in front of my face. New stuff. New stuff.
new stuff?
New stuff. Yeah, just a quick scan. I went to Amazon and it's like new arrivals. They have a section called new arrivals. And I filtered it so it was new arrivals for technology. So you can see we have a lot of excited people on the front cover here, just awaiting the new technology. I thought about it the other day. I
Ooh.
don't save the PowerPoints of these anymore, but I do save the PDFs
Mhm.
of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through them and just save the cover pages.
All right.
And just so I won't be saving. There's no reason for me to save the detail because this is good for now. Right? So, all right. So this is all on Apple. I'm sorry, no, on Amazon. So you can go out and search for these things. I didn't include links, but easy to find. Apparently, it's not available yet. It's going to be available on May 11th is when the stocking starts. But Apple has their own version of the Tile. You know what Tile is?
Mm-mm.
It's a little tag. It's a RFID tag that you put on devices so you can find them. There's little ones. You can attach it to things. You can put it in your luggage. All
Yeah.
kinds of
Okay.
flexibility for using an app to find stuff. So if you don't know, if you keep it on your keychain, you can't find your keys. You could. There's different versions of the levels of the technology. Normally, it works off of Bluetooth and Bluetooth 5 and something called ultra wideband precision um, is going to allow you to actually get the exact location of things now. And Apple has their own. Now I don't know if this is a new version of an older product or this is the new product, but it's uh, how can it be a number one bestseller if it hasn't been introduced yet? I don't know.
Well.
So I guess you can. It says in stock. You can order it now, but the idea is that it's so ultra flexible. If you can use it for as simple as finding your keys,
Yeah.
but you can also use the app to say, well, I want to be able to find my car when I walk out of the stadium, or whatever. So now it can't find your car from a distance because it uses Bluetooth,
Right.
but it will either you do it or will remember the last time you were in your car location. And it will show you on the map how to get back to it, because it had a tag in it, or it could just be um, this. Apple already collects the the wider area information about where you've been, right?
Everything.
What shows the building you're in, right? It doesn't show what floor, what chair you're sitting in. This stuff has the capability of getting that granular. So, but it's $29 each, and they have a kit. I think you can buy 4 for 99. Was the other pricing? But the at a minimum, you need to have an iPhone 11 or 12 to get the precision finding, because you need to have the U1 chip in it. But if you don't have that, if you have an older phone, a 10 back, it'll still work. You just won't get that super high granularity location. So interesting. We'll see where this goes. I like this. I had Tile for a while, but Tile didn't have replaceable batteries at the time. You had to buy a new one every couple of years. So you actually had a subscription. You could get them to send them to you. This actually uses a 3032 battery, the most common one that's in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
quarter size kind of.
Yeah, the quarter size battery, but the most common one. I bought a cart of those at Costco, like 12 batteries 3 months ago, and I've gone through 2/3 of them already, because it's just everything was coming due. The BIOS in one computer, the garage door opener, all these things all came, and Eve came over and had a couple of things that needed it. So I'm down to like 3 batteries. I need to buy more. Something new. And then Wise, which is a company that has been around for a while now, but makes cameras and other security devices, very good pricing. And they've come out with their Generation 3 cam, the outdoor waterproof cam, and it's only $29. And this has got full 1080p indoor outdoor video, color night vision, 2-way audio, and has the if this then that and Alexa and Google Assistant built in. And I have the Generation 2 version of this.
What does it connect to?
It's wireless.
What does it connect?
It's got a built-in battery, but it also has you can put in a micro SD card.
No, but okay, but where do you receive it? Just on the phone? Doesn't go to a DVR or?
No, they do have a cloud service. They give you free cloud service too, but you would record it. Like what it would do, it'll save clips you can configure it to save clips to the memory card. So if you say anytime, if it's in an area where you don't expect a lot of activity,
then you
like a deer cam, right, for hunters, it's going to record a 30-second shot every time it detects motion. So, but their pricing is excellent. They've kept ahead. You can connect it to regular Wi-Fi, or they do make a base station. So if you want to put it out somewhere where you don't want to have a wireless router, but you still like to have security, you do need to run a connection to that location. But it's very well. I really like the product, and the batteries last. If you're doing motion capture, the batteries can last weeks, as long as you don't do too much recording.
Mm-hmm.
But you can watch it live. I mean, you say, "I want to see what's going on," and you can switch to it. You get an alert. You might get a motion alert from something like in your house or out in the yard, and you want to check it. You just, okay, I'll go and I'll watch it live. And so along with that, this is not new. The Wise Cam Pan, they call it, which is an indoor only camera. But this is what's nice about this. It's got tilt, pan, zoom, indoor only, night vision, also with 2-way audio. And the audio is very good considering the size of these devices. So good stuff. Look for more stuff to come from them. We've got I have one of these little endoscopes that work with your smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
But the one I have, it works really good, but it's not nearly as sophisticated or as thin as this one. This one actually looks like it will go into tighter spots. The one I have is more of a rigid cable. But this is look at the names of these customers. Who makes these names up? Must be the same people that make up the names of new drugs.
Dipstick.
Have you noticed that the drug names are like, oh yes, get Zinboptipwist, or Botchaslazawak. Come on, who's making the names of these drugs? they stick it in like a random computer that says we need, 2 vowels and 6 consonants, and it just spits it out.
A random number
I don't
generator.
know. It's like, it's a source of, it really
Yeah.
is funny. I mean, it's just, it's okay. But what I like about this endoscope is it's got a 2200 milliamp battery in it, rechargeable battery, whereas the one I had, you had to put batteries in it to work it. So the cost of smart watches has plummeted. We got for one of our daughters a smartwatch that was about $40 that works with iPhone, Android, and gives you, I mean, it doesn't give you all the super functions that an iWatch might give you, but it does give you basic functions. You can see text messages, you can see who's calling you, it gives you all that stuff to the phone, back to the phone. So here's another weird name, Yamay. Who knows what that means? But
Yamai, I mean, yeah.
Yamai, yeah.
What is it?
$39. It's limited pricing here, but good stuff. We've got HD camera sunglasses made
Look at
for
that.
Snapchat. Now these are not cheap, but if you're so into Snapchat that you have to basically record everything,
Mm,
here you go. And I didn't drill down on the capabilities, but it does have some infrared capability for night vision too, which is interesting. I don't know what the battery situation will look like with this. It'd be interesting to see. But so 149 there. We've got a mini spy cam. Look at the prices on this.
yeah.
$28, right? Mini nanny cam, night vision, motion detection. If it is indoor, built-in battery for $28. This next one is I don't know what this is, but this just suddenly showed up all over Amazon. So it is a new product. Sleep instrument for adults to relieve anxiety, pressure, anxiety, headache, brain massage, light sleep, relax. So what does it do? You hold it in your hand and it does something.
And you can't sleep because you have to do something.
You have to do something, but it's supposed to help you relax. Now, what does it do? With electric shock? Does it vibrate? Does it smell nice? I don't know. Excuse me. But I thought it was an interesting thing. $36. If it works, and I did not spend a lot of time drilling down into the supposed technology, but there's lots of versions of this on the new arrivals page. Another wacky name, Inkbird, Wi-Fi grill thermometer. Inkbird. I tell you, it's got to be a random generator or it's people joking with us. But this is $99. It's a Wi-Fi grill thermometer barbecue with 4 probes. Each of them are use Bluetooth to talk to the probes, and then has all kinds of calibration, timer, high-low alarms, and a app to control them with, rechargeable. And I kind of like this idea. I do try to cook meat on my grill with temperature. So I know when I want a rare steak, I know I don't want to go above like 130 in the core. And I've gotten pretty good at it. I have a little fork that gives me the temperature. It's other things I cook, I'd like to take a long time, like a slow cooking thing. I'd rather have it tell me when, oh, the temperature's up to this point. So nice. But $99. There's different versions of it, but I like this because it had 4 different probes. You use this one for Thanksgiving. Use it inside. You don't have to use it in the grill necessarily.
Right.
Yeah. KeySmart is a company that's been around for a while, and I know people that use this and love this idea of turning your keys into like a Swiss Army knife, and everything stays, they're not flopping around, and you can get them up to, I can't remember what the maximum number
They
of
say 10
keys was.
keys.
10 keys, but I think if you got more than 10, it'd be pretty fat. But you use expanders to get them up higher. But now this is it has built-in tile for location. It has a flashlight built in. It's got other things like a bottle opener built into it. So this is the mega version of the KeySmart technology. And it's $45. They're not cheap, but that's not bad considering what the original KeySmarts cost. They were expensive. But a great idea, and I would benefit from that. But there were reasons why I don't think it would work for me, just because of the kind of keys that I carry. I probably need two of them, but this is new. Uh, this other thing, I didn't really know if I was going to show this or not, because this is not something that's not this stuff is probably available through other methods, but this is a USB flash drive with an HDMI port on it. Excuse me. That will let you. It says transform your TV into wall art, display 500 of the world's most iconic paintings. So this really is kind of unique. If you're an art lover,
Hmm.
yeah, I had to hit the dump button there. I'm coughing. You could set this up to play on a monitor, on a TV, just rolling through beautiful art. You don't have to have a Wi-Fi connection to the device, because it's stored on the flash drive.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs power, and it needs an HDMI connection. So I don't know if the USB actually provides access to it too, so you could play it on an actual computer. But it says that you plug in the HDMI cable, and it will just, as long as it has power, it will play the 500 images. And I didn't look to see if they have a subscription to change the actual artwork, have it update. So, okay. The next one is a very interesting LCD digital microscope, 4.3-inch, 1080p, Zoom wireless USB stereo. Why would you need a stereo microphone on a microscope? You're recording viruses singing, and you have to have really good audio of it. But it does say video recorder. So I guess it's based on a video recorder that they've adapted to work with this microscope. And it comes with a 32 gig USB card. But this is something new that showed up, $75. And we've also got Anker makes some really good products. I have several USB hubs and USB to SATA adapters and things like that from Anker. But now they have a Anker Life Q30 hybrid active noise canceling headphones. These are full over the ear headphones, $79. So I have my Bose ones that I spent a couple years ago. I bought it when I was traveling in Alaska. I treated myself for flying. It costs like $279 for the Bose headphones that I have. But if these work good, 40 hours of playtime over the comfortable fit Bluetooth headphones for $79, and Anker makes a good product, it'd be well worth it. And finally, with the last one, this is the most important product that I've had here today. It's a amateur 1080p wireless oscilloscope for removing wax from your ears. So does this mean you hold your phone looking at the picture and you're sticking this thing in your ear trying to take the wax out? Absolutely. Isn't that something? So now you've got an endoscope for cleaning. It's got a little probe on the end for taking the wax out. A bunch of different
Vacuum?
tips.
Is it?
I don't know. Vacuum. That'd be good. I'd like a little rotary thing out there that would clip the hairs in your ear too. That would be nice. But earwax removal tool with a 1080p wireless otoscope with LED light, waterproof ear cleaning camera scope. You think this will be the headliner at the Consumer Electronics Show this year? They'll have booths everywhere set up with different earwax removal tools based on Bluetooth. Everybody needs it now.
Yeah.
And that's it for specials for May 2nd, 2021. It's May 2nd already. Good grief. What?
In the chat, Paul is saying, I guess he's talking about the Apple Tag. You find it on your phone. What if you lose your phone?
That's where you have a tile tag stuck to your phone.
Yeah,
so
but then
how go to a computer and you look up where your phone is. But you should be able to. There's a Find Me feature on your phone, but you have to have access
Yeah,
to a
but if
computer
you
where you
lose
can
your
log in.
phone,
You have to be able to log into your Apple ID to find your phone.
oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So the phone remembers where it is, and if it's still on, I, my daughter-in-law's phone was stolen,
Mhm.
and they found it. But they found it. It was somebody had taken it, and of all places, I believe, I don't can't say this is with 100% certainty, that they figured out that they located it in an auditorium or a church where the person realized who took it that they were onto them, and they just left it there, and they went and they found it. A couple of days later, it wasn't right away.
Damn.
So it's good tech. No, I have it turned on for our devices. So if I do lose my phone, and I lose my phone a lot, but I haven't ever used it because it's always in the house, you know, or in the car. I misplace it. I don't lose it.
Huh? All right.
I unlocate it, and I have to relocate it.
So earlier this week, The Verge reported that Microsoft now has 145 million people using its Microsoft Teams communication app, an increase of 26% over last year's reported 115 million daily active users. That's a lot of people. 145 million. Did you ever use I never used Teams.
Teams, my financial planner uses it.
Hmm.
And so I've had several sessions on. He's the only one that I know that uses it. And I don't know. I upgraded my Office. I'm not sure that it comes with Office now. It's part of Office 365. I know that as an upgrade, you would have to take one of the professional bundles, I think, to get it. But it's useful if you're in a business like a financial planner would be, where you want to have remote sessions. It worked great. I mean, it supports video conferencing, audio conferencing. But the screen sharing stuff is really well done, and it's very clear. It's not meant to be a conferencing tool per se. It does that, but the point of it is that you can have multiple people all editing the same document together. Um, very, very well done from that perspective. You can control who sees what, how they see it, who has
Right.
access to actually doing editing, and I like it. I don't use it, but I don't because I don't want to pay for it.
All right.
But as a collaborative tool over and above Zoom, Zoom does not offer interactive editing of a document, for example.
Right.
You can show a document, but you can't sit there and have,
Somebody else get it.
okay, now Fred, I want you to, make some changes you suggested. Go ahead and make the changes, and I'll hand control the document to you and then bring it back. So we had that in one of our conferencing products at Avaya. They're pretty sophisticated capabilities there, sharing and manipulation.
Listen to this here. Beavers took down internet service for about 900 customers in a remote Canadian community last weekend, after gnawing through crucial fiber cables,
Huh.
the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation reported Sunday. Beavers have chewed through our fiber cable at multiple points, causing extensive damage, said TELUS spokesperson in an email to Gizmodo. Our team located a nearby dam, and it appeared the beavers dug underground alongside the creek to reach our cable, which is buried about 3 feet underground and protected by a 4.5-inch thick conduit. 4.5-inch thick conduit. The beavers first chewed through the conduit before chewing through the cable in multiple locations. After going down early Saturday morning, service was restored just because 6:30. On Sunday, uh, in its statement, the company said crews worked around the clock to address the issue and determine how far the damage continued up the cable line. Telus brought in additional equipment and technicians to tackle challenging conditions due to the fact that the ground above the cable is partially frozen this time of year. Beavers just wanted to get internet access, right? And they
But
figured, let's see if we can tap into it.
what kind of a
That
conduit is
I
four and a
have,
half inches thick?
I
I
have
mean,
no.
I understand if it's going through like an area that's frozen and the ground is moving, they have to have something flexible.
And
But
I didn't know
thick.
that beavers will dig the ground to get to anything. I thought they get trees
But
and stuff,
but
above
how did
ground.
they? I mean, they didn't dig there specifically to find that. They must have stumbled across it. I didn't realize. Yeah, I didn't realize either that beavers dug like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. They said it's protected by 4.5 inch thick conduit.
It can't have been. Well, I shouldn't say they can't go through metal. I would guess that they could. So I had years ago when I first moved into this house, I had squirrels that actually gnawed holes in my aluminum gutters.
Really?
Yep. I'd hear this weird sound like coming from up top, like real because it's metal, sheet metal, it has this really weird noise. I'm like, what the heck is that noise? And I finally get out there and I see the squirrel at the top. I said, what is he doing? I put the ladder up there and there were holes in the gutter on the outside rim of the gutter. They were using it because their teeth
Jeez.
constantly grow, and they have to file them down somehow. I was ready to pay for a dentist just to take care of them to give me a break.
Oh. Um, Now, this, I really don't understand exactly how it works, but it's interesting. Chromium based web browser Opera is all set to fully integrate with blockchain domain name provider Unstoppable Domains. This is coming from TechRadar. In a bid to provide millions of its users with decentralized web access, Opera users will now be able to access decentralized websites hosted by the Interplanetary File System, IPFS. Never heard of such thing. Using unstoppable domains, popular .crypto NFT addresses from the Opera browser. This will include platforms such as iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, and Linux. It goes Opera has over 320 million monthly active users across its offerings, following the addition of a crypto wallet to its browsers in 2019. Decentralized websites that are hosted via the interplanetary file system. Does that mean that those websites cannot be taken down?
I don't know what that
I don't
means.
know.
Maybe it's hosted on the moon and not on the Earth.
There was a story that I didn't print talking about decentralized. Are we still online? Let's see a lot of buffering on. Oh.
Did you see Eleanor's comment? She said, rumor has it that the conduit was bark flavored.
What a
We have a
second. What's
winner.
going on? It looks like, are we down or is it just on my computer?
I'm not down. What do you mean? Down
No.
on the stream?
Yeah.
Let me look.
Somebody.
I'm looking.
Uh,
Got a wheel spinning on my side. Nope. Error occurred.
yep. That's the
That's
thing,
on
same thing.
stream. I'll try stream 2.
That's what I got.
No, well, looks well. No, we're stream 2 is okay.
So it's a YouTube problem.
Yeah, stream 3 is working.
Okay,
Stream 4 is
I
working.
don't.
Yeah, so it's only YouTube.
Oh, let's go here. Disconnect.
No, YouTube is back.
Ah, shoot! I'm resetting it.
Well, actually, it looks like it might be really buffered. Looks like it went live all of a sudden. Yeah.
Well, channel 4 should be okay. That's Facebook.
Yeah, the other ones were okay too. But yeah, YouTube is resetting. Oh.
But hmm,
It's the Beavers. They chewed through the cable.
yeah,
They heard and they were
yeah, it's fine now. Okay, I did not monitor it. Anyway, um, oh, so we were talking about decentralized and deplatforming and all that. It Florida is just about having a new law that will punish uh, social media companies, platforms for deplatforming uh, politicians. And DeSantis is about to sign it into law. And I'm
yeah, I was
getting
following that.
again. There's a problem over at there's a bandwidth problem somewhere.
YouTube is still messing up, by the
Switching
way.
from Dallas to Spectrum.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is really kind of strange. Um, and it's something to do with Caster because Channel 4 seems like it's working fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
all of them were working except for one. Oh, except for YouTube.
Oh, all right.
It keeps restarting itself. Not sure where it's
Hmm,
at right now.
fine. Let's see. This is a story that I kind of agree with something and I kind of don't agree with that. Australian security software HouseClick Studios has told customers not to post emails sent by the company about its data breach, which allowed malicious hackers to push a malicious update to its flagship enterprise password manager, Password State, to steal customer passwords. So last week, the company told customers to commence resetting all passwords stored in its flagship password manager after the hackers pushed the malicious update to customers over a 28-hour window between April 20 and 22nd. The malicious update was designed to contact the attacker's servers to retrieve malware designed to steal and send password manager's content back to the attacker. So, Click Studios did not say how the attackers compromised the password manager update features, but included a link to a security fix. But news of the breach only became public after Danish cybersecurity firm CES published a blog post with details of the attack after hours after the attack on Click Studios email its customers. Click Studios claim password state is used by more than 29,000 customers, including in the Fortune 500, government, banking, defense, and aerospace. In an update on its website, ClickStudio said on Wednesday that customers are requested not to post ClickStudio's correspondence on social media. And they added, it is expected that the bad actor is actively monitoring social media, looking for information they can use to their advantage for related attacks.
And how would they be able to take advantage of people commenting on the fact that the attack happened? Are they
Well, no.
just
No,
commenting on it, or
no, they ask the customers or anybody not to post their correspondence to the customer,
oh, I see. Okay, okay,
which makes a lot of sense. I mean, a lot of times,
I get
oh,
that.
such and such thing happened, and the way they did it. Why are you giving other people ideas how to do things? That you know, yeah, there's a problem. We're working on it. Don't mention how it happened. So this part, I'm sort of like I agree with, but on the other hand, yeah, you need to let people know. It says it is expected the bad actor is actively monitoring social media for information on the compromise and exploit. It is important customers do not post information on social media that can be used by the bad actor. This has happened with phishing emails being sent that replicate Click Studio's email content. The company said. The report says Click Studios has remained extremely tight-lipped about the situation. The company has refused to comment on respond to questions. It's also unclear if the company has disclosed the breach to US and EU authorities, which require companies to disclose data breach incidents or face hefty fines. It's like between the rock and a hard place. I mean, you don't want to talk about it because you want to fix it and not give other bad actors ideas what they can do. But it's interesting that it started with the phishing email. And we keep on telling people don't just open every email that you get. The best feeling that I have is when I get an email or a phone call from a customer who says, I just got this in the mail. Is that bogus? And that's good because they thought something was wrong and they couldn't make a decision and they're asking, which is the right way to do it. Even if you don't have an ISP that will answer your phone and tell you, you can ask a friend. I mean, there's so many ways to find out. And
I had the nicest person call me the other day to warn me that I had a warrant for my arrest.
yeah, see,
And it was funny though. They were really nice, but their voice sounded very artificial. I kept asking them questions and they really weren't able to answer my question. But I gave them the money that they wanted and everything is fine now.
it's just absolutely amazing that people in this day and age, and I mean, you're talking here, I would assume, but probably not, that a company like that, the people there are technical and they'll be able to tell either that or maybe the company failed in teaching their employees what not to do, what to pay attention to, and all that. And we try to do it here many times. We said no bank will send you a notice to update your password and click on this link. They definitely won't call you The way that it happens is when you log in and you're already in, they say you need to update your password. You need to reset your password. But you're already there. And take a look at the address line. Make sure that you are on the bank's site or on wherever you think that you should do. One of the most common ways that people are being redirected to sites that are bogus, and I don't know why I find it so hard to explain to some people. If you know that you're trying to go to Walmart, then go to the address bar and type walmart.com. If you read in your ad or in your statement or whatever, don't type it into Google or don't type it as a search term. Type the address. You know it already. Because when I had a few of those, boy, it looked just like Walmart, and I went in and I added to my cart and da 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 and da da da, and then at the end I had to put my credit card again, and I thought that was weird. I said, "Okay, tell me how you got to Walmart." Well, I just typed Walmart. I said, "Do it." So he said, "Here." I typed Walmart, and it came up, and the first one is Walmart. I said, "You type in the search." Yeah, I said, "Okay, now put your cursor on top of that Walmart link and tell me what it said." Had nothing to do with Walmart. So people just need to, Spence,
Yeah, I was muted, sorry. But pay attention that if you go to a page you go to on a regular basis and something is a little different,
right.
don't proceed without checking it out first. Because
You,
it could be a software update. They may have changed their site slightly,
y-
but don't just immediately, oh, well, it's different now. I should just go ahead and do it. No,
yeah, you need to be proactive. You need to pay attention. You know,
never click on a text that you get that says, oh, important information about our package that we're trying to deliver to you.
right. There's
Right.
no such thing. Doesn't exist in reality.
Or the phone call that
If
you
the-
get. This is something that happened to a friend of mine actually called me. I got a call. I'm on the phone with a guy now who tells me that my Windows Defender subscription expired.
Yep.
No, this is serious.
I know. No, I know. I'm familiar with
They
that.
called me to say, is this legit? And I said, no.
Yeah. It's just amazing.
Or there's a warrant for your arrest.
Uh-huh.
Or you have been chosen to participate in this new program. Just anything like that, run away. We're calling from credit card services, and we think there may be a breach in credit cards, and we need you to log in with us to test the connection or so to make sure you're not compromised. And basically, you're handing over control of your computer to them and logging in so they can see your account.
Yep.
And these things don't happen. Really, if I have a credit card with a company that monitor every single charge that's made, that's not with a card present, meaning it was plugged in, swiped or chipped.
Mhm.
I get an alert saying what was purchased when. And if it's suspicious, they actually send me an extra email to say, we noticed that you had I contributed to uBlock Origin $5 with PayPal. Well, uBlock Origin is not in the United States. So I got a message saying, you just made a $5 international purchase. Is this correct? So if you have these features available from your credit card companies, take advantage of them. Turn them on.
But you need to remember that you have them.
Yes, you need to remember that you have them, and that there will be secure. Like if you travel, for example, with my card, It's always good to now travel within the United States, especially on the East Coast. I don't do it, but I did do it because put a deposit on something that was a big deposit. So I said, I'm going to be making this deposit. Okay, thanks for letting us know. Or if I travel going on a cruise and I'm going to be stopping in these 4 islands or something like that, here's my cruise. This is the week I'm gone. So I'll have and they'll monitor it and they'll notice, they'll be able to tell if there's weird activity too.
Mm-hmm.
If you buy something in a little gift shop and then 5 minutes later down the street, it's buying a car battery.
Yeah.
They know that something's not right.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fine. But you also need to know that that message came from a legitimate
Yes.
source.
Yeah, and there are ways to tell because you can log in using your login to their secure site and that information will be there. And you can talk then. Usually the fraud people are a separate group that contacts you.
Right.
To say, we're not asking you to call us. We just wanted to tell you, we saw this charge. It's suspicious. In the interim, we've blocked your card because we think this is fraud. Call us so we can figure out or get online so we can see what's going on.
And in many cases, many of these notices that are bogus will come addressed to undisclosed recipient.
Yes.
And right away, no, that's wrong. The other thing is when you're dealing with that company to begin with, and they send you information, save that message. Save it somewhere. Because what will happen is you can go later on, a year, 2, 3 later, suddenly you get an email that tells you that this is such and such company and we want you to do such and such. First of all, you can go to the original one and see if the email address is the same as the one that they actually have. That's the first thing. And the second, see if there is a difference in the header. I know that's easier said than done. Find somebody that you can call and ask. And
one easy way is to just roll your cursor over a link.
Yeah.
It says Walmart. Click here for Walmart.com. Roll your cursor over, and it will show you the link. And if it looks like,
it's a weird thing.
Weird name not at Walmart.com,
right,
but at such and such and such and such Walmart at something else, or where there is a bunch of stuff in front of Walmart.com that doesn't look familiar, like spend money, save time at Walmart.com. That's not real.
Right.
Not legit.
And if you're not really sure and you can't find any good information, delete the message. If it's important enough, they'll write again.
Yes.
It's just like the phone call. You're not sure who it is and you're screening and you're seeing a number you don't recognize, hang up. If it's important, they'll call back.
I almost always now, with any number I don't recognize, unless it's coming from a location that I expect to get a call from. Like if it comes in as Raleigh Apex Carry, I let it ring through and I let the voicemail take it. But if I was talking to a company in Cupertino, California, and I get a call back from Cupertino, California, chances are it's them calling me back.
Yeah.
So I know to at least try to pick it up. But
yeah. The thing about dropping a call, not answering it, the what do you call them? Auto
dialer?
Auto dialers, or even people that sit there and dial numbers. If they do it, they cannot go back to the number they just called. They have to go forward.
Well, call center, with these automated call centers.
So they hang up, you hang up, that's it. They're not going to call you back.
They're usually not the people who are calling, because that's why when you pick up these calls, you hear a delay.
Yep.
And then suddenly you get a person and it sounds like they're calling you from a room with a lot of people in it.
Yep.
And did you
And
see the story? I think we talked about it, about the guy who actually, he was very skeptical about whether he should do this or not, but he was a security expert and somehow found out about a scam and wound up first monitoring them for a long period of time and then figured out a way to hack their cameras in this illegal call center in another country, because they monitor their employees very
mhm,
carefully. The people that are the fraudsters that work in these places, they're just employees. I mean, they get hired to do this, and that's from their perspective. They're just working. But he was able to go in and capture their video and actually see their reactions to stuff that he would do, and used it to create a document to say, to explain to people how this stuff works and what they do and what to be suspicious of. It was very well done, but he said he felt like he was on the edge of doing things that were not ethical, and he didn't want to proceed to go any further. But he had the capability of actually breaking into their networks. He would work with them and then wind up getting remote access to their network, and
mhm.
they didn't realize it, because they're not, the people who are talking to you on the phone aren't necessarily engineers.
Right. No,
They're
that's
just working from a script.
yep. So yeah, please be careful in what you're doing.
Did you see the
And wait a
uh
second, if you do
good.
get something that tells a phone call that says that we found out that your Windows is infected or whatever, if you tell them no, I don't think so, they have so many ways to keep you online. And if you're one of those people who will not just hang up, you say, I don't have Windows, I have a Mac. And then they'll hang up.
I I've been doing that since
Yeah.
when I became a homeowner, which was a long time ago. You start getting calls, cold calls. Excuse me. People calling. I'm calling from the gas company, and I want to sell you. We have this news. I don't have gas.
Yep.
Or you call. I'm calling from the oil company to sell you oil. I don't have oil. I have gas. So you
Yeah.
just tell them what they
Right.
don't, whatever it is that disarms. Oh, I'm calling you about investments, and I say, well, is bankruptcy okay? They just leave. It's just give them a reason to
Yep.
leave. Or if I'm calling you about life insurance, it's, oh, how did you know I only have a month to live? It's like,
That's good.
so yeah, it
That's
gets rid
good.
of them real quick.
Yeah.
So I saw an interesting thing this morning that could could be very good,
Okay.
but it's not going to be readily available on most machines yet. But they've updated Device Manager. Did you see this
No.
in the new developer version of Windows 10,
No.
the latest Insider? Uh, it has a new feature in Device Manager called. Let me make sure I get it right. Um, oh, geez, where is it here? Oh, devices by driver. Instead of I'm in Device Manager now, and you have View, devices by type, devices by connection, devices by container, device resources by type. They're going to add devices by driver. So if you would like to go in and remove a driver, say you disconnect a piece of hardware, you want to get rid of the driver. You
Mhm.
don't have to go into the registry anymore to take it out. If it's something that is persistent, that won't leave. So um,
Huh.
this is going to be nice. So you can now, if you
So
try to
are you
uninstall,
talking about Device Manager or Task Manager?
no, Device Manager,
Okay.
Device Manager.
Okay.
So here it says they attempted to uninstall the NVIDIA GeForce device. It warned that Windows may not remove the driver if it is still in use by other devices. So you can go in and actually override that and say, no, I want to install the driver. So instead of leaving that, it might have another reason for leaving that driver there, thinking it could be useful. Well, no, get rid of it. And if I do install something that needs it, it'll reinstall it again. So it was pretty good. So let's see how this works. Devices by driver. So pretty cool. Yeah, it'll be added to the menu when they fully have tested it and put it into the next major release.
Very, very interesting.
Yes. Finally, a little
Yeah,
visibility into some stuff that's been nagging.
and
Find
clean.
a you find a problem like this, it could drive you nuts.
Sure,
Some manufacturers have to create their own
uninstallers.
workaround
Yeah.
device driver removal tools
Yep.
because it doesn't get removed. Like when you used to uninstall Norton antivirus,
Uh-huh.
couldn't uninstall it.
Right.
You had to use their uninstall tool to completely scrub all the drivers out
Right. It
and
would
all the
leave.
changes in the registry.
That's why that bulk crap uninstaller works great.
Uninstall is great
Yep.
because it takes out all the
Takes
anything that's
all of
cached
them out. Absolutely.
Yeah. And search everything.
Search anything is nice,
Search
but
every yeah.
but you don't
go in
know
and
the name.
look, and you can say, well, I have these gigantic files and they haven't been touched in 5 years.
Mhm.
Are they important? You look at them. Oh, it's a archive of video file. Yes, I want to save it. Oh, it's the image of an older version of Windows that I made a DVD from years ago.
You don't need it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're a cord cutter, and a lot of other people are. A lot of people are using Roku. YouTube TV has been removed from Roku's channel store. So if you are using Roku or Roku TV and you had a subscription to YouTube TV from YouTube, it's not going to work. After Roku and YouTube TV parent Google failed to come to a distribution agreement amid accusation that the tech giant made anti-competitive demands. These spats happen regularly between pay TV providers and linear TV networks. But in the digital era, this is one of the rare times in which consumers will have a major streaming network removed from their platform's channel store due to a breakdown in negotiation. I mean, I think this also happens between cable providers and the stations. I mean, every now and then you'll see, we're going to be removed if you want, blah, 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 blah.
Well, they put a warning out in advance saying negotiations are not going well. And if you don't contact them and urge them to stay with us, you're going to lose access to this channel. Yeah.
Oh, wait. It says the channel will still be available for existing YouTube TV customers.
Just can't download it.
But new users that wish to download the app from Roku's channel store will no longer have the ability to do so. Roku is keeping the app available to existing users so that customers don't get caught up in a messy negotiation. Earlier this week, Roku notified customers that YouTube TV may be forced off its platform if it couldn't come to an agreement with Google over a distribution deal. Notably, the dispute between Google and Roku is not over financial terms. So
I wonder, you probably can sideload Roku stuff.
Probably, probably.
You can install an APK on Roku.
Yeah, but it's not going to be in there, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be in their
well, for most
store.
People, they won't be trying to sideload.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting.
Yep. Well.
All right.
Yeah, I got to go at 11. So.
Yeah, it's that time again. Eleanor asks you, what credit card do you have because of all these notifications that you get? What?
City card.
Okay.
And it's because I've had an American Airlines frequent flyer mile plan for years, and I have the City card version of the American Airlines card, so I get points and I use it for travel.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the only reason I do it. And there's other deals out there that are better.
There are a lot of credit cards that will do it, and I think you have to ask that they'll do it. You have to set it up with the company like that.
One other thing that they do, and I have it's not I think it's a gold card. I don't have a platinum card, but it has another feature which I really like, which is one-time numbers. So you want to make a purchase online, you can log in. You used to have it on the phone, and I don't think you can do it from the phone app anymore. But you log into the site and you click on, I think they call it one-time numbers or virtual numbers.
Yeah, one time.
And it will generate one you right there that's good for
At one time.
certain period of time,
Yeah.
one time. And you can actually click to copy, and it will copy it, and you can paste it into the purchase you make. So
Yep.
in some cases you may want, if you're not on your own computer, never cut and paste. Just type it in.
Well, there's one bad thing about typing in versus paste is, and maybe today it changed, but it used to be that all those, what do they call them? The one that record your keys, keylogger. Keyloggers could record what you're typing, but if you paste it, they didn't see it. So if you type Spencer, the keylogger can see that, but if you paste Spencer, they don't even know that something was entered there. I don't know if it's different today. Anyway, I guess that's it. You have anything else you wanted to add, Spence? I know you were.
No. I'm
right.
experienced. This past week was a calm tech week. Didn't have a
Yeah,
lot
it was.
I did have to reset. I thought that problem I had with streaming that one channel
Yeah.
might have been the network, and it
Right.
didn't fix it. And I did order some of those standalone RF switches.
Mm-hmm.
I have some now, but I got them all assigned to something. So I ordered another system of those. One that actually does learning. It's not hard coded, which is nice. And I think I got 3 switches for $17 that you can do a learning
Jeez.
procedure on. Yeah. So,
Yep.
so I'm
Nice.
going to hook it up. I'm going to be able to do my hard reset. I think I'm going to divide it up where I'll have a hard reset for just the router and cable modem. And then I'll have a hard reset for the rest of the network stuff separate. I mean, if I turn off the master one, will turn them all off. But if I turn off the one downstream, it's just going to turn off the router, or just turn off the switch and the devices. So I can have it granular that way. So I don't have to reset. It takes a while for my UMA to come back up once it goes down. So my security system goes down with that.
Yeah.
So I don't want to,
Makes sense.
my poor man's security system. So,
Absolutely. You don't.
yeah. It was interesting how I set that up thinking I could reset my network by using the Amazon switch. It's like, wait a second. Don't I need Wi-Fi to turn it back on? Yeah, I do. So yeah, that was funny.
All right. Well, Spence, thank you.
Thank you.
What are you going to do the rest of the day?
We're doing our first camping trip with the RV.
Today?
So going out to Jordan Lake tomorrow.
Oh.
We're going out to Jordan Lake for 2 nights, and I have the last minute stuff I need to do.
Okay. All right.
It's over to Aaron's. I need to hook some stuff up and verify operation.
Oh, you'll find out when you'll be out there.
No, I don't want to find out when I'm out there that I don't have the refrigerator running right. So, or the air conditioning. So.
All right. Enjoy.
Oh, I hope so. It'll be a shakedown cruise.
So, fine. Well, say hi to everybody.
I will. Say hi to Kathy and.
Yep. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Dana, Dina, Arlette and Micha, Eleanor. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Starting tomorrow, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., Nick is on WAAV in Wilmington. And Tuesday at 7 p.m., Nick is doing it with Brian, doing the Infection podcast on Twitch, twitch.tv/Infection podcast. Have a great week, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.